Unfortunately, homelessness is a common reality for many returning veterans of the military who were deployed overseas. They often suffer from PTSD and have difficulty adjusting back into normal civilian lifestyle, and then they also have to face the challenging task of finding a job in an already competitive market. There are several different organizations who reach out to help homeless veterans in need, but still many of them end up sleeping in the streets each and every night regardless. When one woman suddenly found herself in her own time of need late one night, however, it was actually a homeless veteran who came to her rescue. He offered the woman some friendly assistance during her time of crisis, and her gratitude toward the man's random act of kindness was overwhelming. Little did these two people know that they would soon become the worst of enemies. It all began when a woman named Kate McClure was driving alone one night through a strange and unfamiliar neighborhood. Much to her dismay, her car then suddenly ran out of gas as she was attempting to find her way back home. To make matters even worse, she had no cash in her wallet at the time, and her cell phone also happened to be dead. She had no choice but to get out of her car and seek some type of assistance. Then suddenly, a man appeared from out of the shadows on the street. Kate was frightened at first. After all, she was alone, and a stranger was now swiftly approaching her car. The figure emerging from the darkness turned out to be a homeless veteran named Johnny Bobbitt, who was panhandling nearby when he noticed that someone was having car trouble down the road. He politely introduced himself and then explained that he was a former member of the military, but that he had struggled both financially and emotionally upon his return to the U.S. Johnny also struggled with substance abuse issues, as many other homeless veterans do, and this unfortunate series of events had ultimately led to him living in the streets. Still, Johnny graciously offered Kate the only money he had left, just so that she would be able to get some gas and return home safely. She was incredibly grateful to the kind stranger and immediately promised to come back to that same spot again at a later time in order to repay him. True to her word, Kate returned the following day along with her boyfriend, Mark D'Amico, and the couple provided Johnny with several important supplies that would be key for his survival, plus a little bit of cash just for him to get by on. Still, the couple felt like they could do much more to help out Johnny. In order to truly show him their appreciation, they eventually set up a GoFundMe page that not only shared Kate's touching story about a stranger's random act of kindness, but also asked for small donations to benefit Johnny. Their target goal was $10,000, but after the heartwarming story went viral, the couple had soon received almost $400,000 in donations from all over the world. Johnny could not believe how quickly the touching story had spread to the masses, and he even appeared on a few radio and television shows just to thank everyone for their overwhelming support. Meanwhile, as Kate and Mark got to know Johnny a little better, they soon learned that he was originally from North Carolina, and that he once had dreams of becoming a nurse. He was even engaged to the love of his life at one point, but when he moved to Philadelphia one day in order to pursue a job opportunity, he not only lost out on the job, but he lost his fantasy as well. The couple came up with a plan to get Johnny back on his feet, which included a makeover, a place to stay, and a trust fund for his new money so that he wouldn't be tempted to spend it all on drugs. They also promised him an apartment in the future, a car to get around in, and various help from other services who assist homeless veterans. Unfortunately, though, things didn't go as planned. Kate and Mark did give Johnny a place to live, but instead of an apartment, he actually stayed in a trailer that was parked on the couple's property. They also did provide a car for him, but it was old and the vehicle quickly broke down. Most importantly, the couple had given Johnny $25,000 in cash, enough for him to get by comfortably for quite some time. However, still wrestling with his addiction to drugs, Johnny spent all of the money within just 2 short weeks. Still, he was determined to recover, so he then used the last of his cash to buy himself a supply of Suboxone, a prescription drug used to wean opiate addicts off of illegal drugs. After returning from his bender, Johnny was then asked to leave the property, and the trailer that he had once lived in was sold off. Suddenly, Johnny found himself back on the streets again. There was still a large amount of money from the donation campaign left unspent, but Johnny had no access to it, and so he eventually decided to file a civil lawsuit against his former friends that he had previously been so close with. In the court documents, Johnny accuses Mark and Kate of using the money from the GoFundMe campaign to go on several lavish vacations and even to buy themselves a brand new BMW. Still, he didn't want to seem ungrateful, but he also knew that this was probably the only way that he'd ever have access to his donation funds ever again. The couple denied using the money for themselves, and they also claimed to have given Johnny $200,000 instead of the $25,000 that Johnny says he originally received. However, there is some evidence that Johnny's claims may be accurate. There are many photos of Mark and Kate going on several different luxury vacations, and even some of them gambling, while meanwhile, neither of them had received any kind of noticeable increase in their salary for the year. As a result of the accusations made in the lawsuit and the circumstantial evidence found on the couple's social media pages, the Florence Township Police Department then launched a criminal investigation into the lives of the young couple, as well as into the fund that was originally set up to benefit Johnny. The couple's house has since been raided by police, and their flashy new car has been taken into evidence. They were also given a deadline to surrender the last of the donation money, but according to Johnny's attorney, there is practically nothing left of it. Once again, Johnny now finds himself homeless and broke, unsure if he will ever see the money or his former friends again. However, he has received some small new donations, and GoFundMe themselves have promised to gift Johnny the rest of his money if it turns out that he is telling the truth. If his allegations do turn out to be true, it just goes to show you how money can end up spoiling even the purest of intentions in the end. The investigation into the case is still ongoing, and Johnny will no doubt be waiting impatiently to hear the results. Do you think Johnny is telling the truth? Let us know, and then take a moment to leave this story a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more.